You gotta keep them separated.
All right, welcome back to the show, folks, where we separate fact from fiction and truth tellers from the liars. 407-774-8255 is our number. I am Christopher Hart. I got Lucas Paris in the studio with me.
Periscope is here.
He's got the Periscope here. That's right. It's up and running, and you can see the results on our channel on YouTube. That's American Adversaries TV on YouTube. Nick,
6 parts up.
6 parts up. Let's see, two more to go.
2 more to go, yeah.
Nicholas Cicero on the bridge, 407-774-8255. As we come to you live on AM 660, The Answer. And real quickly, a week from tomorrow, Carl Jackson and a fellow by the name of Wallace Brushweiler are going to be speaking at the Eastmont Civic Center. And I hope you folks will get on over there. It's a week from tomorrow. That's the 16th. The doors open at 6:30, so you can listen to us on the way over there. And the event starts at 7. It is free. Of course, Carl Jackson is a great colleague of ours. He was on our show last night. And by the way, if you didn't catch our show last night, you can go to our archive after tonight's show, of course, and you'll find it there at AmericanAdversaries.radio.com. We had a spirited conversation there last night about prohibition and other things. But once again, that's at our website. But Carl Jackson will be speaking and along with Wallace Brushweiler at the Eastmont Civic Center next week. That's Tuesday the 16th. Doors open at 6:30. It is free, and you'll want to get over there and see that. By the way, Wallace will be talking about how the UAE is now running Port Canaveral over there and how that might have some security concerns for us. And Carl Jackson will be talking about, I believe it's black voter fatigue or fatigue. Carl, if you're listening, if you'll text me exactly what you are going to be talking about next week, I'll tease it out here for you. In the meantime, I want to make I don't know if it's a correction, but we were under the impression that the police report that was released having to do with Josh Duggar was released illegally. The local sheriff, or excuse me, the city attorney of Springdale, Arkansas, is now saying that that was not accurate, that the report's release was legal. He released this statement saying, on May 20th, 2015, in full compliance with Arkansas law, the Springdale Police Department responded to a records request under the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. He said further, the requested record was not sealed nor expunged, and at the time the report was filed, the person listed in the report was an adult, that of course being Josh Duggar. Any names of minors included in the report, as well as pronouns, meaning like he or she, were redacted from the report by the Springdale Police Department in compliance with Arkansas law prior to release. So evidently somebody got tipped off and requested via a Freedom of Information Act law in Arkansas this report, and if this city attorney is correct, and we must assume that he is, then the report was released legally. Whether it should have been done ethically or why someone would want to do that, obviously they want to bring disfavor, disrespect, and disreputability to the Duggar family and everything that they stand for. And make no mistake, in my mind, this is once again, if you will, a little chipping away of our Judeo-Christian heritage. To try to bring disfavor upon these people because they suffered with the same problem that I bet you 8 or 9 out of 10 families in this country have suffered with it at some point or another. Kids, doing things they shouldn't have ought to been doing, and sometimes doing it without clothes on or something. I mean, to think that what this 14-year-old kid was tantamount to some sort of rape or something like that, or some, say, fully grown man doing this sort of thing is absurd. And allegations that the Duggar parents should in some way face some sort of legal sanctions is also absurd. This is simply what it means to have children. All right? So the story goes on, and I hope the show comes back to television. Unfortunately, like I say, this is going to be a little bit tougher than, say, for instance, what the Duck Dynasty guys went through, because in this case, in the liberals' mind, a crime has been committed here. Well, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say that. Obviously, the kid was misbehaving, but I don't know if it rises to the level of crime. I guess it's all in the perspective. But nonetheless, the city attorney says that the report was released legally. Okay. Right next door in Texas, over the weekend, there was a pool party going on where I guess some unwanted guests showed up.
Oh.
And then the invited guests called the police. The unwanted guests were some teenagers, both black and white, maybe some Hispanics mixed in there too. But when the police came, order was soon lost. There was a scrum, if you will, the police running in all different directions, tripping and falling and grabbing kids, and one of the cops even pulled a gun on a bunch of teenagers. I'm a big proponent of respecting law officers in particular. I mean, they've got the toughest job of all. But come on, I mean, this was a situation that rapidly got out of control, and it was obvious that once it did get out of control, that the police officers didn't know really how to get it back in control. And not that I, of course, not having been there, would have known what the first thing to do myself, but it's obvious that the relationship between the police and the citizenry here in this country is heading for an all-time low. The distrust, the lack of respect, the impossibility of the job for the police, it's all there. I mean, when you give people a job that is virtually impossible to do, there's going to be no good way to do it. And not saying that in this particular case that this couldn't have been handled much better by the police, but I think underlying all of this is a breakdown in our social structure. And it's being fueled, it's being fed by the likes of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, Al Sharpton, Eric Holder. Now that he's gone, he's not so much part of the problem anymore, but he's certainly left a nasty situation in his wake. And the police departments around the country are basically under siege. And when, teenagers can be, they say middle school is the worst of all the schools to teach in, because you don't have the kids are between the young kids who look up to adults and older kids who are beginning to think like adults. And so you have this sort of mid-range, and these kids can really be a problem. But nonetheless, you don't go pulling guns on them. And you don't go tackling them and threatening them in that fashion. It just shows that they are in control, that you are not in control of the situation. And I don't have any prescription for the police department that they could have done anything better or done anything different, that it would have come in a different outcome, except that you have to be the adults in the room, and you can't be the adults in the room when you're literally chasing the kids around and tripping and falling all over yourself in the process. It begins to look like the Keystone Cops. And this is the last thing, police departments around the country need. And, of course, everything today, if there's any kind of a crowd, is going to be videotaped, and it's going to show up on YouTube or wherever. And maybe it'll be done via Periscope. And I'm not talking about our Periscope. I'm talking about Periscope, which is a real-time live video service that you can get the app. And so as you're videotaping it, you're not taping it, you're not recording it, it's going live into the Periscope world, and people can watch it real time. But having said that, there's no easy solution to the place that we've come to today in terms of the relationship between the police departments around the country and the people that they are supposed to be there to protect. Because we have set up a situation, we talked about this last night, with prohibition and laws where we are demanding that our police force do things that they are incapable of doing. We are demanding that they go into our communities and rid our communities of drugs. Ain't gonna happen. Sorry. Will not happen. Unless we give the police the power to come and go out of our homes, look and inspect us anytime, anywhere, any place. That's the only way that it will happen. But you know what? Even then, it wouldn't happen. Let's take, for instance, prisons. All right? Obviously, you can't have contraband in prisons, can you?
But it's still there.
It's still there. It sure enough is. Jim McDougal. I don't know if you folks remember Jim McDougal, but Jim McDougal was part of the savings and loan that was part of the Whitewater scandal there in Arkansas, you know, the Clintons and all that stuff. Jim McDougal went to prison, died in prison of a cocaine overdose. Okay? Cocaine in prison is not an uncommon thing. And now you would think that with that much of a controlled environment, where the guards can go into a cell at any time with no, reasonable suspicion, just because they're a guard and the inmate lives there, they can go in, and yet the drugs still exist there. Guess what? They have sex in prison too. Sure enough, they do. Most of it is homosexual sex, but guess what? They have heterosexual sex in prison, too. You want to know why? Because the prison guards can make some extra money if they're female or if they're males in a women's prison. These are the realities, folks. These are the realities. The police cannot do what we are asking them to do. That's why they end up looking like, for lack of a better word, fools, and being made fools of, because we have given them an impossible task. All right, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation, and we'll begin to wrap up tonight's show. Don't forget, tomorrow night, now we're going to have Colonel Danny McKnight on, and we'll be talking about the situation in the Middle East. We'll be talking about General Terry, who said that, oh, yeah, we've stopped ISIS. Yeah, we got it under control over there. Well, we'll see what the Colonel has to say about that. Mike McBath is also going to be sitting in, so it's bound to be a lively show. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.